And there we are. I'm going to hold down both mouse buttons and move this just a little bit. Going to set my width for my baseline to 200 and right click on the line. At line, I'm going to do a basic flap, and I'm going to hit the period key, which brings up my section height, and I'm going to set that to 300. Click OK. Double click on this section to highlight it, and in the quick entry boxes I'm going to put 125, 200, and 50. These are dimensions that we'll use in the building of our box. So now that we have that, I'm going to hold down both mouse buttons so that I can just kind of pan and move this over to where I can better get to it, and then I'm going to zoom in a little bit, and we're going to start adding panels. Or the right hand side, I'm going to right click and use my shortcut keys, LF, and then my number keys for my quick entry numbers, and I put my second panel. Let's just do that again, and this time we'll use the number 2, and that will give us the same width as this panel, and so on. Now we're going to go to the top of the main section and add a flap there. Because I want this one to be my lid with the tuck flap on it, I'm gonna drop it down just a little bit. So in my height for the active section, I'm going to change it to 124 millimeters, and then let's pan this down a little bit, and on top of that right click, LF, and we're going to use number 3 this time. That will be our tuck flap. Then let's radius these corners. So on the right click, I'm going to go PR for my shortcut keys, and then I'm just going to drag out a radius that looks right. Now I can go, I left click, now I can go left click on the right corner, and just Control R will give me the exact same radius that I have are the last steps that I did. So on this flap, I want to go down here in the active section, and I'm going to put 0.8 millimeters of an inch gap on either side of that, just so that it will close good. So that takes care of that. And let's add a flap right here for a dust flap, and by double clicking on the section to activate it, right click. This time I'll just show you, you can use the mouse and the context menus instead of the shortcut keys, and instead of using a predefined dimension, we'll just drag this one out. If you look in the lower right hand corner, you'll see the little globe down there, and you can actually see the height that you're dragging out. So we're going to try and get this about 75. It doesn't have to be exact, but 76 will do. And we have pretty much designed the flaps that we're going to use. We want to add a I think I want to add a glue flap on here. So we'll activate this panel and right click, LF, and we'll just use that number 3, so we got 50. And on these corners, I think we want to chamfer these corners. So I'm going to right click, and I'm going to use PC, and that will give me a chamfer. If I use the period key, I can get an entry box to where I can actually enter a dimension. And now I'm going to go to my bottom corner and do left click, Control R and say OK on that. So now we got a glue flap. The last thing that I want to do is copy and paste some flaps around so that we have some more that we're using these flaps up. So I'm going to double click on this, Control C, come down to here and Control V, go up to my tuck flap, Control C. I'm just double clicking on the section to make it active, and then using my regular copy paste, Control V, Control C. And so I'm going to get this dust flap, Control C, and put it at the bottom. Notice that the flap, when I place it, I can place it on either side of the line. And when I'm below the line, it's going to be below, and I can move it to above the line. We'll do the same thing down here. And that gives us our completed box. Let's just take a quick look at it right now in the plan view. And using the mouse wheel, I'm going to zoom out both mouse keys or mouse buttons to kind of pan it around and zoom back in. And there's our completed box. In our next video, we'll take this box into Flexi and illustrate it and fold it up back here in Flexi 3D. Thank you.